Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Will Power and Tony Snap. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. It's pretty hot out here in California. This is actually baseball weather, man. So if you're out here in Southern California, we finally reached the 80-degree mark. And for those of you that play baseball, this is actually the weather that baseball players love to play in, because now you get your arms ready, you get your body loose, you're ready to run. You don't get those cramps that you're getting when it's cold. Will, I don't know. You felt this weather last week, right? Now you're feeling a different weather. Is it cold out there in the East Coast?
It's not really cold. Today was like 72. Last week it was weird because last week we were all in the mid 90s, like 90,
Wow,
94, 95, something like that.
Is that why the Mets playing better? Maybe that's why the Mets are playing.
That's what I've been
better.
saying all year, man. You got all these bats that have been so cold all season long, and it's because the whole United States has been kind of just naturally cooler since the start of the season, and it hasn't really gotten a chance to warm up. Now that the weather's starting to warm up kind of nationwide, I think we're going to start see an influx of hitting.
Was that the nationwide commercial or what?
Yeah. They're on your side.
What's up, Tony? How's it going with you, dude?
My lunch shower, bro.
Yeah, we got you in the show, man. Everything good with you, man? You like the weather? You don't like the weather? You're out here in Cali? Man?
I don't really care. I'm always normally either in like AC or like, if it is like super hot. I mean, my sister has a pool, so we're lucky.
Lucky. Yeah. But hey, what about your players, man? We just talked about the Mets. They're getting hot.
Like them.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantasy wise, dude, personally and fantasy wise, baseball wise, like, come on, man. This is a fantasy baseball show. Like, no one cares about your personal life.
By the pool with margaritas. I don't drink margaritas. But, to be honest, I don't have any players that are really like have been like down on their luck and then like just started performing. Most of my players were either like hurt or they've already been producing pretty good,
Yeah.
So I haven't really seen a difference. Probably the only one I would say is Lindor. I just traded him off like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I keep an eye on him just because I miss him, Hey,
Will, 1, 2, 3. Sucks to be you, man.
Better, so hopefully it continues for him.
Yeah, well, all the Mets are getting better. Actually, they are getting a little bit more of inspiration, I guess, because they've been beating the Padres up this past weekend. So it's been helping the Dodgers out. They're in second place now. And Will, I know you want to talk about this because I know you said that the Dodgers were going to get hot after these two series. They played the Pirates. Now they're playing the Rangers, and it was a big time blowout last night. I was at the game last night, and man, like, it looked like the Dodgers, like a big giant team playing against a minor league team, dude. And the Rangers really don't look all that great. And I see what you were talking about. Maybe this is a start for the Dodgers to start playing together, getting those hitting, the hitting back clicking and the pitching back on track. And I mean, is this what you were looking forward to? Is this what you were thinking, or what are your thoughts of that?
This is exactly what I was talking about. I mean, when you look at like matchups wise, Dodgers had the Pirates and then now the Rangers in the weekend series. And next week, I believe we got the Phillies, and I don't remember who the other team is, but it's just another low scoring team, whereas like the Padres are facing the Cubs, and the Giants, I think, have some tough matchups too. So I think this is really the Dodgers' opportunity to take advantage of those not easy matchups, because I mean all these guys are professional baseball players, so they all got some skill, but their matchups are definitely more favorable than the Padres and Giants matchups are. So right now is the time to get hot, man. Like every year the Dodgers have a slump where they just like have like a 20 game stretch where they're under 500. They're not doing so good, whether it's pitching or hitting or whatever. So hopefully this is the slump that they already had to get it out of the way. Bellinger's back. Everyone's healthy right now. Max Muncy's kind of nursing a little ankle issue, but it doesn't seem to be anything serious. I think the biggest blow to the Dodgers was the Dustin May injury, but adapt or die, and
Seager too.
Seager
too. Yeah, but Seager should be back. I imagine when Seager gets back.
I think he started swinging a bat already.
He should be doing he's projected to come back mid-June, early July. So he should be going out for like a
rehab assignment.
Maybe sometime next week, I would say.
Yeah. So Bellinger just had a little, I guess it's a hamstring.
He said it was he just felt tight.
It felt tight. It didn't.
Yeah, and they just wanted to take it easy on him. They didn't. They just took him out for precaution. So,
which is fair, which is good. It was a high-scoring game last night. You don't want to risk it either, so might as well just go ahead and rest them right now that they're playing the Rangers. Like Will said, it's not a easy game to play against the Rangers because I mean they are professional, right? And every team in the major leagues is going to give it their all, but they are a little bit on the not so good side where you're playing those teams and you want to rest your team. Your good players like Max Muncy, he's still nursing that ankle. I believe that's wrong with Muncy, and then Bellinger, what you just said, which is good. This is good for the Dodgers, and they look like their hitting's coming back, and one of the guys that actually came back for the Dodgers, which was that fifth starter you mentioned, Will, that it was Dustin May went down, and Tony Gonsolin, dude, like. How did he do in his first start? Like for you, I know you picked him up for your fantasy baseball. Was he one of the guys that you were looking forward to and were excited to see him pitch?
Me?
Will picked him up, right?
I don't have Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Oh,
that's what I was tripping out. No, I picked him up.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I think Tony has him in 2 leagues. No,
just one.
Just one. So how did you do, man?
He didn't do so great. I think he only pitched like 2 or 3 innings, maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
I think fantasy wise, I think he's got me like -1 or maybe -1 point.
Wow.
Yeah.
He only pitched 2 innings then.
When you have a pitcher coming back off an injury, you're always kind of weary. Like, should I start him? Should I bench him? Should I even activate him from the IL? Let him go through one start so he can kind of shake off the cobwebs and come back. Because bullpen sessions are one thing, simulated games are one thing, even rehab starts are one thing. But when you actually face live MLB pitching, it's completely different. And these guys need to kind of get back into the rhythm after they've been gone for so long. He's barely making his season debut, and we're already like 65 games in. So almost 3 months not being able to face good live pitching or good live batting. I think he needed to kind of like shake off the rust and try to get back into form. So we thought he was going to be a 2-star pitcher this week.
Yeah.
I think because of that, like not so great start, I think that's why he's not starting tomorrow, Sunday's game.
Okay. But he started on Wednesday. So it looked like it was going to be on Tuesday.
So they must have pushed him back one day because he was supposed to start on Tuesday.
Yeah, so Bueller started on Tuesday, and then Gonsolin pitched on Wednesday, which is kind of because we had it on here being a 2-start pitcher because he was supposed to start on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
now it looks like he's going to be a 2-star pitcher next week.
Yeah. So you're getting ready for week 11. We'll give you 2 starts as the show goes on. Is there any questions out there right now, Will? Anybody actually asking us anything? If there is, go ahead and say it now. So we'll go ahead and continue with the show. Like I know for sure if you have a 2-star pitcher, might want to hold on to him. So Tony, this is one of your topics right here, man. And like you're a conspiracist. So this right here, conspiracy theory for Pete Alonso, dude. Tell us what's going on with Pete Alonso, man, and if do you think that's true?
Mm-hmm. Well, Pete Alonso, they had asked him what he thinks about the spider tack and the whole sticky situation with pitchers going on right now. Mm-hmm. And he said that he doesn't really care because they're always changing the ball anyways. And then when they asked him to kind of like elaborate, he said that I can't remember like his exact quote, but like basically what he was saying was whenever there's good hitters on like the free agent market, the MLB like deadens the ball, so the good hitters don't get so many home runs or don't hit as well.
Yeah.
So they get like a big payday, and vice versa. Whenever there's like a lot of pitchers that are gonna be on the free market, they make the ball fly. They juice them, like Verlander was saying a few years ago, and so the pitchers don't get the big payday that they expect. So I mean, I don't know, just because of I guess the way my brain works, I would probably be like, it's probably onto something. You know what I mean? Like, let's dig into this further.
Yeah,
but who knows? I really don't care, to be honest. I mean, to a certain extent, like, come on, bro. Like, don't use so much of the sticky stuff, to the point where like players, it's affecting the players that are catching the ball.
Yeah.
I think that's effed up,
Yeah.
But
and you know what's funny, dude? Like, I was watching a game, I think it was last Sunday. It was the Dodger game, of course. I'm a Dodger fan. And Garciaparra was actually talking about it on during the game. How you mentioned the sticky substance. I know we're talking about Pete Alonso, but you mentioned the sticky substance, and you said that a lot of old players and players are actually getting the ball on the field deal with that. So he remembers talking to a pitcher. He didn't say the name, but he remembers talking to a pitcher and telling them, hey, don't put so much sticky stuff. If you don't want me to make an error, make sure you don't put a lot of sticky stuff on that freaking ball, because remember, we do get ground balls. And if that ball sails out to like, the stands, like, it's not my fault. Like, you decided to use that sticky substance. You decided to put it on there. And if you're throwing a no hitter, like, it puts more pressure on the fielders. So I don't know if you guys remember a play that Javi Baez, he got the ball and he threw it all the way to the stands. Like, it looked like he was playing the outfield. So like maybe it had a little bit of sticky substance and the ball got stuck on his fingers a little bit harder. Going back to what Pete Alonso said in the same conspiracy theory, he actually said too, like with the sticky stuff, he said, if it's going to make the pitchers throw more accurately and make it more a way for them not to get hit, then by all means use it. If you're going to have more control and you're going to have a way for the hitters not to get hurt by it, then it makes sense. And I kind of do agree with that, but then you don't agree when the ball is going to spin a lot more, go a little bit faster, and it's going to be like splitting a lot more, and like sliders and stuff like that going away from you is going to be like super deceiving. So right now we're seeing a little dip on the hitting where you're not seeing a lot of home runs as opposed to other years, and then denting the ball, like what Pete Alonso is saying, it's kind of like man, the conspiracy theory, you start thinking about it. And then Tony, you just said it, like you start thinking about it, you're trying to dig a little bit more into it, and I mean, that's
like, it almost makes sense.
Yeah, it almost makes sense, and that's that's my opinion. Will, what do you think about this?
It's
It's like, you're crazy, man.
It's hard, man. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think that Major League Baseball would actually do this, but then seeing what they've been doing for the past few years, how now they've actually come out and said that they deadened the ball this year. They made it a little bit lighter. The stitching is a little bit looser. And then previous years when everyone was like, oh, they're definitely juicing the ball. They're definitely juicing the ball, which was just a few seasons ago. Everyone talking about the 2017 juiced ball, how there were so many home runs that season. So I don't know, because of that evidence right there, I'm kind of inclined to kind of go into this conspiracy theory with them, and I kind of believe it, man.
I'll go grab some foil, bro.
We're gonna have to change the show, the name to Conspiracy Theorist Baseball or something.
But then the Mets GM, when they asked him about it, when they asked about Pete Alonso's comments, he kind of just like laughed it off. If you're not just a little bit not really concerned, but if you don't think something fishy could be going on, maybe he's just trying to cover it up because he actually knows something's going on. I don't know, man. But it just seems even more kind of fishy that he's not even open to the idea that that's actually going on.
That's true. That's true, man. Well, we'll see what goes on once the season keeps going. I know they're looking into it already. The commissioner has already said that they're already looking to actually take some balls and collect them after the games and see if there's 60 stuff like sticky substance on them. Like, you know, some pitchers hide it better than others, and some of them are just out in the open, and you can see that. But we'll see what happens with that, and we'll see what happens with Pete Alonso, man. He hopefully doesn't get suspended by talking, you know, some conspiracy theories in MLB. You know,
I don't think so. I don't think that's against the rules, right?
It's not. But look at how Trevor Bauer is getting, like, you know, a bunch of stuff. Like, he can't wear certain shirts during his press conference, and he's not.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like,
he can't wear.
He can't wear, right? He can't wear certain things. So
can't wear his own apparel.
Really? Like, yeah. So yeah, dude, they're after him ever since he brought out those cleats with Joe Kelly on them.
Joe Kelly.
Yeah, like they've been on them since that. So, and he knows that. Trevor Bauer knows that. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Another news though, Trevor Story. He just came back. If you have him in your fantasy team, I don't know. He's off to, like, you know, I think he's gonna do good. He's gonna get traded for sure at the beginning, before the deadline. I know the Yankees are looking into him, and I believe the Blue Jays, dude. The Blue Jays are looking into him. Why? I don't know how true it is. Like, I think it's one of those spoofs where, like, I saw it, I'm like, damn, the Blue Jays, but why the Blue Jays? The Blue Jays have already a kicking team, but if they go ahead and get Trevor Story, like, he's a monster, dude. And then you add him to that mix.
But
it's a rental, but dude, look, for me, what the Blue Jays need is pitching. It's not more hitting.
Exactly.
You know? But I saw that, like I said, I don't know how true this is. That's
what they should be looking for.
Yeah, I don't know how true this is.
That guy's going to get traded too, watch.
It could be one of those trades where the Blue Jays have the potential to send some minor leaguers to the Rockies and get, you know, Trevor Story to get pitching. Because it has happened where a team like the Marlins, remember when the Mike Piazza trade happened to the Marlins? The Dodgers traded to the Marlins, and that same day the Marlins traded to the Mets. So it could be one of those that they don't have that potential three-way trade because that other team, two teams don't get along or something like that, or they belong in the same division and stuff like that.
The Dodgers and the Twins did something similar, and they were supposed to have
Gratterall, right?
It was Gratterall. So Gratterall ended up going to the Dodgers, and then Gratterall was, I think, supposed to go to the Angels.
No, he was supposed to go with Boston with Verdugo.
Oh, that's right. Boston for the Mookie Betts trade.
Exactly. So
it ended up happening anyway, but so
it happened separate.
Staying in Minnesota, and then Gratterall ended up staying in LA, which was great because he was a huge part of the World Series for the Dodgers.
Last year. Yeah. It's great, pretty crazy, dude.
But I think you got that backwards, Will. Gratterall was with the Twins.
Yeah, he was with the Twins. Yeah.
And then he got shipped to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said from the Twins to the Dodgers, not from. He was supposed to go to Boston.
Jock too, right?
Jock was a different trade.
Jock was supposed to go to the Angels.
Yeah, that was a different trade.
So many weird trades that year.
And Maeda went to the Twins, and then Gratterall went to the Dodgers. And Gratterall was supposed to be a piece of the trade to go to Boston, so that way we could make the Mookie Betts trade happen.
And it still happened.
It didn't end up happening. They ended up getting Verdugo, right?
Boston got Verdugo.
And Kike.
No, Kike went on.
Kike was a free agent.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It was a crazy trade. I remember how it was supposed to be a three-way trade, and we weren't supposed to have Gratterall, and it happened to where Gratterall came to the Dodgers. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, it broke down. It broke down mid-trade, and nothing happened. Even the Angels trade, because Jock's supposed to be with the Angels last year, and it didn't happen. It didn't go through. Artie Moreno, the owner for the Angels, said, "You know what? I'm gonna stop that trade 7 days after." So then that didn't happen because it was supposed to be Stripling and Jock Peterson going to the Angels, and it didn't happen. It stopped it. Yeah, dude, it's kind of difficult to explain because there was so many pieces going so many different ways, and then it happened where Maeda landed in Minnesota, which is, he's still there. So yeah,
he's been great for them, except for this year.
This year, man.
This year he sucks.
He sucks, man.
He's gonna be coming back too. He's starting on Monday. He's probably one of our 2 starting pitchers we'll be talking about later in the show.
I think the same thing for him. Just like we talked about earlier, that the warmer weather is better for hitters. It's also better for pitchers.
Oh, of course, man. You get more loose.
We're going to see a lower amount of injuries for the rest of the season. In the beginning of the season, we saw a lot of injuries. It was like everyone was getting hurt. It was little things. It was big things. It just kept on happening over and over again. It was like almost every single player. But now that the weather's starting to get warmer, these guys are looser. They actually had like a full spring training, and already 2 months of the season already went by. So now that they're kind of getting into their baseball form, their good baseball form, I think we're going to start seeing a lot less injuries happen.
Of course,
except for COVID. COVID happens.
Yeah, but of course, man, it's heating up, so that's a good thing. Like I said, out here in California, we hitting the 80-degree mark, which is what we were waiting for. We're tired of this freaking cold weather. For those of you that like that hot, man, it's exciting. And for former players, where we play baseball growing up, so once it heats up, it's really nice weather to play baseball in. But let's go continue, man. I have a question for you guys. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The fantasy shot callers, they just left a comment. I could see the Blue Jays being a surprising buyer at the trade deadline for pitching, focusing on relief pitchers.
Big time, dude. And that's what we were talking about. Like I said, I don't know how true that Trevor story, like I saw it and I didn't believe it, but I wanted to go ahead and mention it because the Rockies are looking to trade, and I thought I did see the Blue Jays and I'm like, but why the Blue Jays, and I definitely they need relief pitching, but if they get that one starter too, they need that one starter like to boost up their pitching. I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with, man. And like,
well, you also got to think about the Blue Jays don't really have a permanent DH, right?
No,
they don't have a DH right now like they used to.
They're moving around pieces because they have so many young guys
to try to keep people healthy, but they don't have that one guy. Maybe Bichette could be that guy. Because Trevor Story's defense is way better than Bichette's defense. So you put Trevor Story at short. Oh yeah.
I think
fielding and throwing, dude.
Okay.
But Bichette, his bat, you can't take that out of the lineup.
Oh no, of course not.
So
I like
you can make him the DH, and you make him the DH at least 4 days a week, and then have him play kind of around the infield on when other players need the day off.
Like a utility player.
Yeah, someone like that. I mean, he's still really young, so he has a little time to grow, and he could use this opportunity to try to, fine tune things to try to make him a real all around baseball player instead of just a pure hitter.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what if they're like shopping him for third base? Because who's their third baseman?
For the Blue Jays?
Yeah, they don't have a third baseman.
I mean, it could be. It could be.
So I was thinking maybe that. And you know what else I was thinking? Because like I told you guys, my mind works in a conspiracy way.
Oh man!
But I was thinking is maybe they're shopping for Trevor Story so they can be like, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that. But then in their mind, they're actually like, I'm gonna like work them, and then offer low on Jeremy Marquez. You know what I mean? Because then they're gonna be like, okay, we couldn't make that happen. How about we just do something right here? And then
it's a business.
You end up getting like a steal for Jeremy Marquez because you've just been working with someone. Sometimes like that's kind of like how I do it. Like I'll go for like the player that I'll probably like not gonna trade anyways, but just to get the conversation going, going back and forth. Okay, what are you looking at? What are you looking to do? Where would you want to add? So I don't know, maybe they're just
also the thing with a lot of these GMs for these Major League Baseball teams, a lot of them know each other. They have the winter meetings. Man. They have the winter meetings. A lot of them, have lunch and see each other once in a while. So they have conversations all the time. I'm pretty sure for them, it's a lot easier to have a conversation than it is us as like fantasy managers trying to have a conversation with someone where it's really just over the internet. And
Yeah, you
and
can't really
commenting
speak.
and going in the chats and stuff like that. It's a lot easier for them to make the deal because they can actually see each other in person. That's how it kind of was for me when I was living in California. It was so much easier to make a trade fantasy wise because we were all in the break room together. We were all talking about it. And you got guys chirping in the back like veto, 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 or
yeah, of course, man. That's always fun. The hazing and everything like that. I'm pretty sure they're going with it too. Like original GM, like big time GM managers. They're like, oh man, we're not gonna allow that. We're not gonna allow that. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be your friend. I'll offer you this for Marquez, and be like, you know what? Yeah, that sounds better. I don't want Trevor Story anymore. Let's do it. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tony. That makes a lot of sense. It's a good business strategy move, and that was a great question. That thank you for asking that question. Like, I really like that question, but hopefully we answered it for you. And yeah, we do agree they do need a bullpen, and I'm gonna add a little bit to it. I think they need that starter, and that starter, like Tony said, could be coming from the Rockies because they're actually working that Trevor Story trade, and then they're a little bit behind. Like, you know what? Nah, give me Marquez.
What's that other guy you got?
Yeah, that starting pitcher that's doing okay.
He's okay, right? What's that kid's name?
Yeah.
What's that kid's name? Then they'll just be like, no, you know what? We'll give you John Gray.
Yeah. Oh no, not that guy. Well, let's continue, guys. Let's continue. I got a question for you guys, and I know this question has been going on Instagram, TikTok, and all of social media platforms. Who is better, either Clayton Kershaw or Jacob DeGrom? And of course, they're going to be on their prime time. We're not talking about now, because I know right now, if we decide to say, oh, who's better, by far, Jacob DeGrom is just leading every pitcher in every category. He's at 0.56 this season, so he's untouchable. Like, he has more hits himself than he has allowed runs. That's pretty crazy, right? So,
what?
Yeah, dude, he has more hits.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, he has more hits than he has allowed runs this year. So that's pretty crazy, dude. So yeah, at age 33, both of them are at that same age. Clayton Kershaw has 14 seasons under his belt. Jacob DeGrom has 8 seasons under his belt. But as you can see, like, I put up the stats on there, and we're not really concerned about wins and losses because those aren't really like things that they can actually go by, because
control.
Yeah, they can't control that. They don't go out there and hit home runs and try to make runs for them. What they're doing is they're keeping runs low, and they're pitching against the other opponent's ace. So they're, no matter what, these guys have to be on top of their game every game. They're going against ace after ace after ace. So it's stressful innings every inning. So who would you take? Would you take prime Clayton Kershaw or prime DeGrom? And let's start with you, Will. Like, I know you're looking at the stats and you're like, man, who do I pick? So,
I mean, I'm pretty set on DeGrom.
Oh, damn. Really?
I really like DeGrom, man. Kershaw's been great. Kershaw was the GOAT for a long time.
Yeah.
But the thing with Kershaw, though, is he had really good strikeouts when he was in his prime. I want to say it was probably between like 10 and 11 per 9. But when you look at DeGrom, his are more like 13, 14 strikeouts per 9.
Okay.
So I got to go with DeGrom, man. Kershaw definitely has more wins and he has playoff experience, but we've all seen, people joke around and call him Choke Shaw because during the playoffs, there's been times where he doesn't play like Clayton Kershaw does. He doesn't pitch like the ace that he really is. We saw in 2020, he was great in the playoffs. And I think 2018, I think he played great also. And the issue that I have right there is we haven't seen Jacob DeGrom in the playoffs. We only saw him in the playoffs, one time?
Who, Jacob DeGrom? He went to the World Series, dude. And they were lights out against, I believe, who was they played against? I'm blanking out, man. I'm supposed to know this. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The Indians, right?
No, it wasn't the Indians.
No, that was the Cubs.
They lost in the World. They lost in the World Series. I want to say
to who?
Man, I need to pull that stat up. I can't because I have the slide up.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. He only went to the playoffs just that one season, right?
Yeah, it was the season that they beat the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's the year that Utley broke Ruben Tejada's leg sliding into second base.
They made a big deal about it.
And that's when they made a big deal about it and changed the rule. No breaking up the double play anymore. But
that's another topic.
Yeah, that is a whole other topic.
It was the Royals, guys.
It was the Royals. Okay, the Royals.
Royals.
Yeah.
The Royals won.
Okay, so you picked DeGrom. And Tony, I'm gonna go ahead and let you actually answer this before I give you my perspective on who I picked.
When we were talking about the I guess the topics we were gonna talk about today, I had said DeGrom right away too. I was like DeGrom, but now that I'm looking at these stats, I'm like Kershaw, just because of the body of work that he's already put in. You know, from 2008 to 2021, that's a full 6 seasons more. I mean, for me, I would rather much have like longevity, where he's been putting up like his career ERA 2.47.
Yeah.
Well, you said prime though, so his prime.
I said prime. Prime
is a smaller, sample size. Like if you look at DeGrom, his
2011 to 2017.
Okay, so look before we
2018 until now for DeGrom, that's his prime. The past 4 years. And then if you look at Kershaw, you look at like before his back injury, before he went on the plane and slept wrong and then messed up his back. So
okay, don't need to cut you off right here.
Away, like the last 5 years from Kershaw, and you just go before that, and then compare that to what DeGrom's been for the last 4 years, then that's why I say DeGrom.
Okay, so look, before we continue, let's look at the first 8 seasons for Kershaw, and let's look at the only 8 seasons that DeGrom has. We'll stop at 2015 and look at the ERA for Kershaw. He's at 2.13 career. You're looking at DeGrom, he's at, and that's prime Kershaw right there, right? I mean, after those years for Kershaw, you start seeing the ERA still there. Like I think his 2016 season was his MVP season. We're not counting that. We're counting 2015 and before. And you look at DeGrom, where is DeGrom at? He's at 2.5. So if we're looking at those numbers at the first 8 seasons, because remember, we're looking at prime, right? Prime, and you're saying, you said 5 years, Will? The last 5 years for DeGrom?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just include the whole 8 years. Let's do the whole 8 years.
4 years, because it's 2018, 19, 20, and 21.
Which were great. Which were great numbers. And that we are talking about prime. But let's go ahead and do the 8 years. The first 8 years for these individual players, I'm looking at Kershaw, and you're looking all the way to 2015. Well, actually, I got to average it out. It's not 2.13, but he had a 2.13 ERA that year. And man, I don't know. To be honest, I would prefer Kershaw because of the teams he played with and how many times he went to the playoffs and how many times
but
the MVP. He became an MVP. I'm not saying DeGrom is not good. He might be the MVP this year for his team because he's even hitting, getting RBIs, for the Mets, which Kershaw did yesterday. He got 2 hits. He got I think 3 RBIs, I want to say. So I don't know if both of them are competing. They're actually trying to give the people what they want, because this question that has been popping up a lot on Instagram and all these social media platforms. So yeah, I'm a Kershaw guy, man. I'm gonna go for Kershaw. Will, you said DeGrom, and Tony, you said Kershaw as well, right?
Too, man. Dude, from 2011 to 2017, he was an all-star throughout every year.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
DeGrom has been.
Give me that. Yeah, his ERAs is low. I mean, DeGrom. I mean, I would say DeGrom was probably a little more, probably better technically.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like Kershaw, his stuff, his attitude. I don't know. I would just stick with Kershaw too, man.
And his prime.
Earlier I was like DeGrom. Yeah. But
I know. You got me kind of upset. Like what? Think about it.
Yeah. When I started looking at this, man, it's just like, you know what? I would much rather have Kershaw. And that's not to say that this year I would much rather have Kershaw, because definitely not. Well, I would. Yeah, I would love to have him, but over DeGrom, no.
DeGrom has a 0.56, man. We talked about it last week. He was at 0.76, I think, and now he dipped all the way down to 0.56. That's unheard of, man. And that's before the All-Star break. Once we hit the All-Star break and he still has that number, it's going to be an amazing year for him. It's going to be like a new record. Yes, if he stays healthy, and it's good news for him because he has had that shoulder problem, right?
And he just went down with a
tendonitis.
Like a flexor, some shit like around here.
Yeah, but I believe it's a good news. I heard that was a good news for him. It's nothing bad, nothing tore. Yeah. So if you're a fantasy owner, he might skip a start, depending on how he feels. Yeah.
I read that he probably won't have to skip the start.
Really? As a fantasy owner, I would much rather him skip a start. Just skip. I don't give a fuck. Skip it. Let him.
Yeah, remember the same thing happened to Syndergaard, where they told him that you should rest, and he was like, "No, I know my body better than you guys know my body." And then 3 pitches in, and then he tears his muscle, he tears his muscle off the bone.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was a really good topic, guys. I like the interaction we had with it. Let's continue on with the 2-start pitchers for week 11. This is week 10, and we're getting you ready for and gearing you up. If you want to go ahead and get it's, of course, it's for points league. Even if it's not points league, you get an extra start of your pitcher if you're on categories, and this will help. And I thank you, Will, for actually giving me the slide. Like, this is all the pitchers that are going out there. And I always put this question on you guys, like, who would you guys pick? And Will, I would want you to tell me 2 good pitchers that you will go after for week 11 to prepare for that week.
You know what, man? Even though he had a rough start in his first start, I'm gonna go with Tony Gonsolin. He's facing the Phillies at home, and then he's at Arizona.
Okay.
And, we all know that Arizona, they're not a very very good swinging team right now. Like, they don't score a lot of runs. They don't win a lot of games. So that one should be a very favorable matchup for him. And then the Phillies have been struggling, dude. Didi Gregorius went down, and the bats have just not been there. They'll get a home run once in a while. Harper will get a home run. Hoskins will get a home run. But the team as a whole, their OPS is just down so far this season, and everyone thought that they were going to come out and be this great swinging team, but it hasn't happened for them. So I'm going to look at Tony Gonsolin as my favorite of this group. That other than the must starts, obviously, but out of all these in the group, I see him as my favorite. And then there's another one that I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on this one, because
hold on, Will, before you continue, I just want to go ahead and say that 43% of people haven't picked them. I mean, 43% of people has picked them up. So he still might be available for you guys out there in ESPN and Yahoo. So if you guys are looking for a pitcher, Will's actually recommended this guy because he said that the Phillies and the Diamondbacks are not playing all that well. Give me your next pick, man.
And then my next one, he has a really favorable matchup against Milwaukee. Now, the only issue that I have with this guy is that both starts are in Colorado, and that's Austin Gomber. I still think that out of this whole group, I think that those 2 are probably the best choices, Tony Gonsolin and Austin Gomber. Austin Gomber's been great, at least in the last month, and yeah. You've trusted him this far. You've trusted him through a few starts in Colorado. I would trust him again, man. Even against San Diego at home in his first start of the week. So the thing with San Diego, dude, is there's stars in their lineup. You have Machado and you have Tatis, and other guys kind of they have these big moments. But the team as a whole, their slugging percentage is down. They're not Slam Diego like they were last season. You definitely have to be cautious of Tatis and Machado, the 3 and the 4 hitters. But other than that, the rest of the lineup, they get lucky sometimes. They hit the ball hard sometimes, but they're not anywhere close to the lineup that the Dodgers have. If Gomber was going against the Dodgers in Colorado, it would be a completely different story, especially because, the Dodgers are healthy right now and they have all their pieces kind of all aligned. But I'm going to go Gonsolin and Gomber for my two picks this week.
Cool, man. And for Gomber, for those of you guys that want to go ahead and pick him up, he's owned in Yahoo 36% and ESPN 38%.
And so he's dropping right now because everyone sees that he's going to be pitching in Colorado, and everyone's so afraid of the San Diego lineup.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the same.
Hey, but look, the San Diego Padres right now are the San Diego slump Padres because they're actually not hitting as well as they usually. You just said that. Well, I just want to go ahead and throw that out there again, because I know I've said it in the previous shows where I call them the slump Diego Padres, So Tony, give us your two start pitchers on this week for week 11.
Yeah, I like Tony Gonsolin. I have him on my team in one of my leagues.
Yeah.
I would probably feel a little bit better if he just had like a better start during his debut.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna just throw him out there. The Phillies have been making a little bit of and that's they've been like hitting pretty good actually. And that's without Bryce Harper actually being productive like for the past 2 weeks. He hasn't done nothing. But like everybody else has been picking it up. So like Hoskins, the new kids, 2 new kids, Bowman and Williams or something like that. I forget, but there's two guys that have been like really good. So I mean, Tony Gonsolin is definitely
your number 2 starter.
Yeah, and he should be picked. Everybody should be picking him up, to be honest, because he has the potential of being in the top 50, if not top 40 pitchers. And he's on a great team. He's on a great team too, man. So I mean, that number should be more for my preference. I mean, that's it. Probably in a week or two, we'll probably see his number shoot up to like 70 to 80% owned. 40 something is really low.
Yeah.
The other guy that I'm looking at, though, aside from Gonsolin, I do like Gomber. But like we mentioned earlier, just having to start in Colorado is kind of scary.
Yes.
But the other guy that I'm looking at is probably a lot of people won't like this decision just because he hasn't been doing good. Is Dylan Bundy. Dylan Bundy's going to be playing against Oakland, who hasn't been hitting as well as they were in the past.
Yeah.
And then they're also playing against Detroit. So his matchups are looking good.
Mm-hmm.
With Bundy, though, he just really hasn't been playing to the potential that he should. Everybody project. I think he has an ERA of like over 6, which is not good.
6 now? Dang.
I think it's at 6.
Well, that's the thing. Like with Bundy actually faces a bunch of ace pitchers because I think he's the ace for the pitching staff.
Yeah.
So like I know everybody's talking about Ohtani being the ace, but no, I think Bundy's the one that's facing the ace of the other opposing team, ace. So you got to think about it, right? But you're right. The ace hasn't been playing all that well, like hitting wise, and then they have Detroit.
Yeah,
he's playing the Detroit. So Bundy's not a bad pick. I had him in my fantasy, but I had to drop him.
You dropped him, and I picked him up.
I dropped him. But I had to because like I just mentioned, he's been facing a lot of ace pitchers, and it's just overwhelming. Like
I feel like the thing with Bundy, and maybe like Gomber too. These two guys are probably like you, and Eduardo Rodriguez from the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah,
I think these guys are all interchangeable. If you need to drop one over the other, it doesn't really matter. Maybe you want to hold on to just Rodriguez and Bundy just because of their potential. It's a lot higher than like Gomber or some of the other guys that you'll see on the waivers. So
just don't trust them now. If you pick them up, like it's really hard to start those guys right now because they're hard to trust in the moment. But exactly, if you have a bench spot to stash him, he's a good option.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you guys for that, man. It's just
one thing that I kind of want to add that I was talking about earlier, how the the Padres have a low OPS. I actually just looked it up, and out of all 30 teams, there's only 3 teams that are worse than the San Diego Padres when it comes to slugging percentage.
So 26.
Wow.
And they're 27. So there's the Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners, and Pittsburgh Pirates are the only teams that have the worse slugging percentage than San Diego.
Wow, that's a great stat, dude. I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, man, you have Tatis and you have Machado.
Yeah.
And you have kind of like, one hitters that come out of nowhere and help win games. But other than that, man, you really only have just those 2-star hitters in the lineup.
Yeah,
everyone else,
players.
they're decent, Profaro or slap a base hit. Cronenworth will get a home run off of Kershaw out of nowhere.
That guy's been sneaky consistent, bro.
Yeah.
I think that the thing with the Padres is that MLB Network, MLB in general, just blow these guys up so much because Tatis is the face of baseball right now.
Yeah.
And they only really show you all these like height points on the Padres. But when you look at the rest of the lineup, they're not that good.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my second point too, going back to Gomber's second start, Milwaukee, they're right behind the Padres. So Milwaukee Brewers 26 and San Diego is 27 in terms of OPS.
Wow.
So
man. I'll probably just start Gomber then. Thanks for that quick tip, bro.
Hopefully I'm not facing you next week, man.
That's a good stat. That's a good stat to bring up, man. That's a really, really good stat.
Yeah,
that's good to
I'm
know.
gonna hold on to them then. All right.
You also have to take into effect, like, yes, we know the air is thin in Colorado, but with the deadened ball, it's not traveling as far as it would in previous seasons. It's probably going to act like more like a normal ball in a regular ballpark.
Yeah.
And you know what? We would probably be seeing that if like everybody else from the Rockies were doing good too,
Yeah.
Because like the Rockies they're not hitting home runs all the time,
Yeah.
So you're probably right, Will.
Well, thank you guys. That was a really, really good conversation that you guys gave and 2-start pitchers for us. People that actually needs pitching for week 11. That's a really good conversation, you guys. And that's a really good stat you brought up right now, Will, because I am going to be looking for that. And Tony, don't try to steal my trade, man, because not trade, my pickup, because that will suck. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I want Gomber, man. Gomber, dude. I want to see if I can pick him, Gomber. He's gone?
Gomber's gone.
All right. So I put a video up. I don't know if you guys are seeing it right now, oh my God. Mookie Betts made that amazing catch and throw. Like, I know he hasn't been playing all that well for like hitting wise for fantasy baseball, but dude, this man can play. Like that remind me of like the catch he did against the Braves in last year, where he actually caught the ball, barely caught it. It was about to hit the ground, and then he threw home and gunned. He didn't gun out. Did he gun out Marcell Ozuna, or was it a different play where he left a little bit too soon? Whatever it was.
I think he did leave too soon.
He left a little bit too soon, but still, man, his like knowledge out in the field and knowing what he's gonna do and what, like, it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, the way he set himself up.
Yeah, the way he sells him. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and play it again, man, because I love to play, but like, it's really, really dope. Like, I think if there's any kids out there that actually want to play baseball, this is a man to actually see, because his knowledge in baseball and knowing, like, his IQ is way out there. He's a 6'2" player, man. Like, look at that. Look at that. He caught it and he still throw home accuracy. Like, where do you see that? You don't see that every day, man. So
that's what you see from an MVP.
Yeah.
His bat has been coming up slowly. He's not where the Dodgers want him to be. He's not where he wants to be. You could see the frustration after every single at bat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
He's been striking out a lot this season.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I have him in my fantasy, man. I have him in my fantasy team, and I'm noticing all that stuff. But like, I know
the guy that you do not want to sell low, because someone's going to want to buy him, and because of his struggles, they're going to want to, buy low from you. But that's the guy you hold on to.
Yeah, of course.
Other guys that we were talking about, like Suarez, guys like that, you can let go. But a guy like Mookie Betts, who has MVP seasons almost every single year, you don't let that guy go.
Of course. Well, let's go ahead and move on. I just wanted to go ahead and say and show you guys that play, but let's move on. Yeah. Quick shout out to the Mookie Betts. What do you think of this play, man? And I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see it so you guys can tell me what you guys think of this play. And yeah, Carlos Correa, like you're the best shortstop in the world, misses the ball. And look what happens, So he's signaling
infield fly.
Infield fly. He's signaling infield fly here. He's saying that okay.
How is that an infield fly when it was like literally 15 feet from the infield?
Because
exactly, and that's where
early.
I don't think he called it at all. I don't think he called it too early. I don't think he called it. That's what the whole hesitation and the running, everything happened after because. Okay, so I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this because I have the thoughts and I understand what an infield fly rule is. Yeah. You want to go? Yeah.
Let it run while we're talking.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, let me get another look at it.
Yeah, go for it. So you want to talk about it, Tony, first, or
I don't know. Just keep going off of what you were saying.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I want to hear your guys' thoughts, of course, of this play. Yeah. And if you're out there and you're seeing this, like, I want to see people actually interact with us in this play. So as Correa is going out there, he's looking for the ball, and it doesn't look like a simple play. This ball should have been caught by the outfielder, the center fielder. It's not in the infield. It's already out of play, where it's not a freaking play that it's actually. Yeah, exactly. It's not a play that's a routine play. Routine play, right? So Tony, give us your thoughts on this, man.
I think the umpire botched this, plain and simple.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll put all the blame on the umpire. Fuck that.
So it's not an infield fly?
Heck no. What the heck? What? The freaking the center fielder was right next to Correa.
He should have called him off. He should have called him off, right?
Yeah, that's what should have happened. But like, I mean, Correa's the
best shortstop in the world, like I said.
Yeah.
Look, okay, so Will, what do you think of this play, man? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so just in case there's someone watching or listening that doesn't know what the infield fly is, so you have to have runners on first and second, and it has to be essentially an infield fly, and the umpire will call it while the ball is in the air that it's an infield fly, batters out, automatic, because they don't want the fielder to be able to drop it on purpose and then turn a double play or even turn a triple play. Oh, there also has to be less than 2 outs. There has to be a force at third with less than 2 outs. So
or bases loaded.
Right.
It could be bases loaded.
There has to be a force at third.
Yeah. No, it needs to be base. It could be bases loaded
but it'll still be a force at third.
It still has to be a force. At first or third. Yeah, you're right.
So, the rule for me, if I'm an umpire, is an infield fly is a fly ball that will drop in the infield, and the infield is dirt. The outfield is grass. The infield is dirt, and that ball dropped in the grass. So I don't see that as an infield fly. I just see that as a fly ball.
Yeah. Okay. So, Will, you explained it very well. The only thing you forgot to say was runners run at their own risk after that. The infield fly was being called. This umpire didn't call it as soon as that ball actually hit the air. It didn't. So Correa's running for it out to the outfield. He's looking for the ball. It's not a routine play. From what I understand, what do you call it? Infield fly is if it's a routine play, you're under the ball, you get there, you're there before the ball even starts dropping.
Yeah,
this man was out there looking for the ball, struggling. Like it looked like the ball was moving, and like since he is the best shortstop in the freaking world, he looked like he was lost. He looked like he got dizzy. I'm like, oh man, I'm dizzy. I can't find the ball. It is the center fielder's ball. It should have been Carlos Correa should have been called off by the center fielder, and it should have not been infield fly. That's how I feel about the play. And it happened. Everybody has an interpretation of what this play was, but from a fan that actually understands baseball, and you guys understand baseball really well as well, like you guys actually hit it on the ball. Like it's not a infield fly. If this play didn't get overturned, it really sucks for the Red Sox.
They did overturn it?
I don't know what the result of this play was.
That's what I wanted to know too.
Yeah, I wanted to know. I wish I would have.
I don't think that an infield fly is actually reviewable.
It's not, right?
No,
I don't think so.
Because
it's like a balk. A balk is not reviewable,
right? Because the rule states that it's at the discretion of the umpire.
Yeah,
and if the umpire is the one that called it before the ball dropped, then it stays.
Yeah,
I don't even like that rule either.
Because it's not reviewable.
No, just like infield fly, automatic out. Like, dude, let him make the play, and it's an automatic out.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Well, why are you calling me out already?
Because that's the thing. Because we've seen
we
guys,
see it all the time, though.
But we've seen guys kind of let the ball hit their glove, and then they drop it on purpose, and then they turn two. Because the runner on first and second, they're not going to run already. There's only one out.
Of course, I used to do that. I used to flip my glove and just hit it right here on the top of the glove and let it drop. Throw to second. Throw to short. Done.
We've seen a lot of shortstops and second basemen do that.
Yeah, and you're trained to do certain things like that. But that one, Correa was lost from the get-go. He wasn't under the ball when the ball was coming down. There's no control of where the ball was at. So I think that infield fly rule was called prematurely. And not only that, like, it reminds me of the first wild card game, the first game that ever was played for that wild card game where they had to settle the game before they go into the 5-game series. I believe it was the Braves, and Chipper Jones hit a fly ball out to left field. The shortstop went out. He missed the ball, but they actually called him out. They did an infield fly, and I think the replay was already in an MLB, and they couldn't even overturn it. But you could actually see the shortstop going out, and he was lost from the get-go. There was no way he was going to get to the ball, but they actually called the infield fly, and it cost the Braves that game. So so this play is another play that we encountered this year, where it's like the balk, right? The balk it's a hard play to understand.
Dude,
now
did
this
you
play,
see the two balks from Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah,
Ohtani had two balks in a row, back-to-back batters.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
One of them was the quick pitch, so I understand why the umpires called a balk on him right there, even though they never call it on Cueto, who quick pitches almost every single
time
batter. But the first one, dude, he stepped off the mound.
But didn't he move his shoulder? Didn't he?
He does some stupid thing.
So what the umpire said was that he didn't step off before he threw over to first. But that's not true, dude. I watched that video over and over again, and he stepped off. He just did it so fast that I don't think the umpire even saw that he did step off.
He was probably focused on his shoulders, because if you move your shoulders when you're set, that's a balk. So he probably did it so fast that he didn't even look at his feet. He was looking at his shoulders, because he did go kind of like I'm saying, kind of did this and then stepped off, but he probably made it in the same motion. And that play's not reviewable as well, man. That's another play that's not reviewable. So two balks, man. Like, it's like I said, it's a play that's kind of hard to explain, just like the infield fly rule. And as the season goes on, we're gonna find more like of these rules that it's hard to explain for someone that doesn't understand the game. But we'll try our best to do it, right? I mean, we're baseball fans. We got to try to do it. Just like we try to give you for fantasy baseball, we try to give you that, a little bit of knowledge in baseball. Guys, we reached the end of the show. If there's anything you want to say it now before we go ahead and log off. Go ahead, Will.
So there was a major setback today. Luis Severino. He was pitching. He was pitching today, and they actually had to cart him off the field. He had a leg injury.
What?
During while he was pitching.
Dang.
So I don't think that they have any updates on what the injury actually is, but he was genuine. He was in genuine pain.
Wow.
So we're probably not going to see Luis Severino for a while.
Dude, that's not looking good for our fantasy. I mean, our fantasy team through the podcast, we're stacked in pitching. But I was really looking forward to getting Syndergaard, Sales, Severino. That way we can trade off some of our pitching for hitters. So we might not even be able to do that now. And we were probably just wasted those freaking. I mean, they were our last picks, anyways. But still, man, you want to go ahead and have it ready for. Feel like you did the. You know what I mean? You want to feel like you made the right moves, and now it's just like it sucks that he went down because I have Severino and like pretty much I put stock in him everywhere.
Yeah.
So now knowing that, I'm just gonna probably have to drop him. I'll probably wait like a week or two just to see what the news is.
So here's the update from Yahoo. It says Severino went 1 2/3 innings before leaving the start with the help of trainers. The Athletic reporter said that he was touching 99 miles an hour with his fastball, and he was sitting 96 right before the injury. So his velocity dropped about 3 miles an hour right before the injury happened. And they're saying it's a lower body injury. So it could be a groin, it could be a leg.
We'll have to wait and see.
Whatever it is, man. Bro. Pitchers get their power.
I'm going through this right now. My ball's been hurting all fucking day too.
Hey, thank you for the update, Will. Is that all you have to say before we go ahead and log off, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, other than that, I just want to say that I am pretty high on this guy, Austin Gomber, going into week 11. Hopefully I'll be Nostradamus again and call it that, he's going to have 2 great starts. So only time will tell. It is scary. I know everyone's scared to add him just because he's 2 starts in Colorado, but I got a good feeling about this one.
We'll see who we crown next week for the Nostradamus pick. We usually crown them on Tuesdays, and yeah, man, that's your pick. Your 2 start picks.
One more thing, man.
Man, that's it. Go ahead.
All right. So if any of you guys are looking for any hitters, go after any good Colorado hitters right now. They're going to have a 7-game series. The whole week, both series are all in Colorado. So you're going to have somewhat of a Colorado effect. So those are the guys that you kind of want to pick up for this week 11 coming up.
And it's getting hot. The temperature's getting hot. So the ball's going to be flying. And that's what the Rockies are waiting for these hitters for that weather to get a little bit hot so that ball to start flying.
Yeah, who actually I can recommend is Brendan Rodgers. He's kind of been on fire lately. Now that Trevor Story's back, he's probably not going to play as much, but because his bat has been so useful lately, I think they're just going to find a spot for him in the lineup every day.
Nice. Thanks, Will. All right, Tony, what's up with you, man? Last thoughts.
Oh, I'm all like I'm hearing something in my head, but it's like freaking commercial from this. Man, I was like, what is going on? As far as geez. Oh, you know what? My last thoughts. Will, you hit me up about Winker.
Yep. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. So Jesse Winker in our ESPN league, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I had asked you earlier, like what you were thinking, like what about like trading. More than likely, I just knowing you and watching your team, I would say you're trying to get rid of a pitcher. But then, like when I look at my player, I don't know if I'll be able to. We'll probably be able to work something out, man.
So I'm thinking Corbin Burns.
The return's not going to be there for me.
I'm thinking Corbin Burns.
Huh?
I'm thinking Corbin Burns.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, that's probably the only player I would do it for.
All right, man. Go ahead and do it.
I'm thinking about it. But then I am also like,
or Bueller.
Yeah. But see, look, I was looking at Bueller. Oh, I think we got a deal.
Let's do it.
Oh my God. Because like Burns, I was looking at him and I was like, you know what? He doesn't really have like the win support. Because in our ESPN league, a win is 5 points.
Yeah.
And a loss is -5. So a pitcher that's not on a great team is probably not going to get you more returns. I actually like Bueller a lot more than Burns, especially just like rest of the season, I just feel like the Dodgers are going to be batting so well that you can give up 4 runs and still come up with a W.
There's a stat for you, Tony. Bueller hasn't lost in his last 21 starts. So, yeah, so that's a good start. I mean, that's a good stat for you to know. So if you guys want to go ahead and make that trade,
that's really intriguing to me. But I'm also like, fuck, Jesse Winker is like probably been my only outfielder that's been doing really good. And with Cody Bellinger,
he's the number 1 outfielder in all of baseball right now.
He is.
He's the best right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him and Vlad. Those are the two top guys right now, and Tatis.
Yeah, 278 points, bro. That's what he has in our league.
Wow.
And what is what's his name have? See, I was looking at Burns, and then I was just like, you know what? I don't know.
Bueller's at 236.
I was looking at I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know if you're down with it. You might be, but I was looking at possibly Freddie Peralta and Charlie Blackmon for Jesse Winker.
Sweet.
You know,
bad. Well,
because I feel like I got to fill up my relief pitcher, so that I was looking at Peralta and Blackmon, but then I'm like,
All right, Tony, I don't mean to cut you off, but I know this is a really intriguing conversation, but we already hit that mark. So if we could take this offline, I'll be dope, and then we can talk about it on Tuesday if it did happen. Fans. Ask the questions. What do they want, right? Do you want the trade to happen?
I'll post it on Instagram.
See what's a better trade. Burns.
I like the Bueller
one, huh?
Yeah, that one's dope.
Is really good.
Sorry, Will, I gotta go on Tony on this one.
if you need to replace your outfielder, I have George Springer also. That's supposed to come back pretty soon.
But that's I would gotta add a trade. I much rather have Winker than George Springer, just because.
Unless you add another trade,
I would put like Springer and a pitcher for Winker.
Oh, yeah, but what pitcher?
That's
all your pitchers are badass. You'll be overpaying like crazy. I don't know, Framber.
Yeah, hey, and he's actually being nice, man. He's actually telling you like, oh, you'll be overpaying.
Yeah, hey, man, I'll let you guys know. Like last time, me and Carlos had a trade going on. I think it was Giolito.
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, you're overpaying for my player, and he's all like, I want him. I have. You already had your heart set on it. So I did. Like, oh, whatever, I guess. And then where was it? I think I overpaid for Bichette. Bo Bichette. I traded Lindor and Luis Garcia, who has been freaking amazing for the Astros.
I think you got the better deal because if we saw more from Luis Garcia, if we've seen more than just this season, then you know if he's a legit pitcher like he's been playing lately, then yeah, you definitely overpaid. But the problem is we just don't know about this guy. We don't know because we haven't seen enough of him yet. So it's kind of a gamble either way.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm building the super team right now. You know, I look at my Yahoo team and I'm just like, oh my god, how did I end up with this?
Hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to top of the lineup. Jasper was here. Sam was here. He just joined us. Oscar just joined us. Dude, even Jim, Slim Jim, Little Jim, Big Jim. Everybody's here, man. Thanks for joining the show, guys. Hopefully you guys actually like the show. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything that you guys want to go ahead and do, we'll go ahead and stay a little bit longer. You guys are up for like 3 more minutes. We can stay 3 more minutes because that's how much they'll allow us to be on Castbox. So I know
because I actually want to run something by you guys real quick. Actually, no, you know what? Forget that, because last time I did that with Tony, he freaking stole my trade.
Oh.
when I was trying to trade for, I think, Bellinger, and then you ended up offering Kershaw for Bellinger, and then you stole Bellinger from me. Bro, like,
I did you a favor.
I was like, what do you think about this trade? And then you go and send him a different offer, dick.
Hey, so Sam is saying he hates how people give up on players so easily. Like, people are acting like Rendon is worth nothing. And
that's crazy. My man Gabriel is going through that right now with Javi. Javi doesn't want to bite on Rendon, and dude, and I think it's a good trade, Javi. You really need to probably
what's the trade though? What's the trade? So
the trade is so Gabriel, I believe, was going to be offering Carlos Rendon and Robbie Ray.
Rodon and Robbie Ray?
Whatever. I don't know. The guy from the Angels, the third baseman from the Angels.
That's Anthony Rendon.
Whatever. I forget.
Anthony Rendon. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, man, that's why I don't get paid for this. So Anthony Rendon, the third baseman from the Angels, and Robbie Ray, Toronto pitcher, for Shane Bieber.
What?
I think that's a really good trade.
For Shane Bieber?
Yeah.
I think I would do it right away.
I think that's a good trade, especially just because of how Robbie Ray is projecting. He's having one of the best seasons. And I feel like Rendon probably went, round 2?
Rendon went round 2.
Rondon, whatever.
Rendon.
I don't know. Will, you still there?
Rendon, yeah.
A statue.
I'm just listening.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Hey, Sam, thanks for that, man. Like, that's really, really good.
People are saying that Redon or whatever, that guy. And, and he's just like out, So that's probably a guy you guys can probably shop buy low for, because maybe the owner is also probably thinking I can get rid of him. And I just feel like he's gonna go off. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and then Jasper is saying Cole, Kopech, Wheeler. Okay, so Cole, Kopech, and then I guess in return Wheeler, Walker.
Yeah. Well, Will doesn't like this trade.
Oh, he doesn't?
I'm indifferent.
Yeah, I think a lot of
I think it depends on what your team looks like, because if you're loaded on pitching, then yeah, go ahead and give up Wheeler and Walker for Garrett Cole. But if
Wheeler's
you're
been
on the other side, if you're on the other side and you don't have a lot of pitching, you can't give up 2 starting pitchers just to get 1 in return, even if that 1 in return is just so much better than the other 2, because you're still going to be low on pitching.
But see, that's the risk. But that's the risk. Like, look at Wheeler. Wheeler and Walker, they're throwing good, man. They're pitching really great right now. So
Wheeler's the second best pitcher right now.
He's up there. He's up there.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
number 3 is Cole right behind him.
Him.
So me and Jasper went with this trade. I would say the league was half and half. Half the league was like, yeah, it's a decent trade, it's good, and then the other half is like veto. So I mean, those are probably the best trades, that are probably more fair. I would say we're both taking on risk, because what if Cole, the only reason he was good was because of the sticky stuff,
and we don't know
what if he gets cracked down and he gets suspended, and what if he becomes the first one and the MLB wants to make an example out of him and suspend him for 30 days, 60 days? You know what I mean? That's the end of my season.
Yeah, it really is.
So
Sam is saying you can easily just pick someone up. So Sam, you don't see our league. Our league is super competitive.
Yeah.
Every single pitcher that's available right now is garbage. Or guys that you pick up just because it's a streaming option against the Pirates or the Rangers or something like that.
Yeah, our league is super competitive.
Exactly. Every single team actually there's 2 teams in the league that don't pay attention that much, but they still win.
But everybody, and everybody else is
a really solid team. But other than that, dude, there's no one out there in free agency or waivers that's actually worth a pickup right now.
You know what it feels like, Will? If we're on a 12-team league, but it feels like we're in a 14, 16.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the waivers, that's what it feels like.
I'm surprised that the podcast league isn't more competitive.
Yeah.
16 teams, you figure that there wouldn't be much out there in free agency or waivers, but there really is, because a lot of these other podcasts that are in the league, I think that they don't do fantasy like we do fantasy, where me and you that kind of run the team, we're on top of it every day. We're constantly looking at the free agency list to see who's available to pick up. We have 7 transactions a week. That's a lot, dude.
Crazy.
We could easily just pick up and drop every single day. Just do a streamer pitcher once a day every week for the week.
People would be using that strategy, or something.
But the thing with that though is that our pitching is so strong that we need to win and whip an ERA.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey man, that was a really good conversation. Really good. We had a good show, I think. Thank you guys for commenting on everything we actually talked about today. Sam, thank you for the question. That was a really great question. We had a great question coming off right off the bat on the freaking show. They asked us a question. We got on top of it. We answered it, and hopefully we answered it to the best of our knowledge to provide you with some info, right? That's what this show is about, to give you info on your trades, on fantasy baseball news and stuff like that. This is our opinions, and like our opinions, I guess, count for something if you're here watching our show, right? Which is pretty cool. And that's what we want to do. Like, we want to answer your questions every time you answer something. If we're not answering, we do have that Yahoo account, which is Real Talk Baseball at yahoo.com. We also have the Instagram where you can go ahead and send us questions on there. Will's on top of that. As soon as it comes in, he answers people there, which is really good. We do have TikTok as well, if you want to go ahead and go there and reach us. And we have the Twitter account, and Tony's taking care of that. Tony, like, don't put your head down, man.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah, dude, like, I just want to go ahead and put that out there. So guys, we reached the end of the show. Yeah, dude, thank you for everything. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power and Tony Snap. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.
See you guys.